This is a really good place to look for tracks. There's spots on the trail that are really soft, and the animals leave tracks here. I see a lot of hiker's boots, but yes, look, right there is a V shape of where the deer hoof was. There's some more deer hoof prints, and you can see they're going different directions. So the deer were milling around in here. Sometimes in the summer you can come out here and you can see all the bird tracks in here too.
Can you identify the birds by their tracks?
I can't. Some people can. I can tell a turkey because they're so big.
Suddenly we look up and see not a turkey, but a turkey vulture soaring.
There goes a vulture. It's a turkey vulture. In the winter we don't have very many vultures up here, and in the summer we have a lot more. Sometimes you'll see red-shouldered hawks, lots of red-tailed hawks. We have sharp-shin and Cooper's hawks, which are the small ones. Definitely the little kestrels with the red or the blue backs. And we do occasionally have golden eagles up here.
Could we see a badger out here?
Well, if you're very lucky, you can. We recently got a reliable report of a badger in this meadow right here. They didn't do very well for many years in the ranching days because they were considered dangerous for the horses. The horses would trip on the holes. But now that this is open space preserve, there's room for them and they're coming back. They're very sneaky. They tend to be out hunting and prowling around at night. If you come upon a hillside where you see a lot of dirt thrown up, that could have been from a badger. It also could be from a coyote. And if you look in a wildlife book, it'll tell you the difference between the holes. A badger is a digging machine. If you've ever seen the claws on a badger, they look like the claws on a grizzly bear. They're very long and they're made just for digging. And when a badger decides to dig, it just goes for it and it just goes and it drills right down and nothing stops it except for a rock. It's throwing the dirt straight back in a really long, straight streak. Now, coyotes are different. Coyotes will dig and then they'll rest. And then they'll go move to the other side of the hole and they'll dig, and they'll rest. And then they'll worry the hole on the other side, and they tend to throw the dirt up in a big wide fan that's kind of spread out. And their holes tend to be rounder, where the badger's holes tend to be shaped like the badger's body, flat on the bottom and round or dome-shaped on the top.
As we walk across the meadow, we aren't lucky enough to see a badger. But peering down to the bottom of the slope, we see half a dozen deer acting very strange.
So the deer are running around in circles. They're pronging up and down, kind of those big high leaps with all 4 feet in the air. They are chasing each other and turning around in tight circles, and they're waving their tails. So it looks like there's a little bit of playing going on among the little ones, and I also can see some of the does are charging each other. So there's probably a little bit of dominance going on too. Oh my gosh, look at them jumping. They are definitely having a good time. You know, we always think of deer as just either eating or running away. If you are still and you watch them, you'll see them playing games like this.
I asked Cindy about pronging, which looks like something a cartoonist would dream up.
The eastern deer can't do this. Only our western deer can do it. They'll run, but they can't do the 4 feet in the air jump.
Have scientists figured that out?
They think it's because in the western states, it's because they are moving across a lot of rocks and barren areas, and they can actually get momentum on those rocks to spring high to get away from predators.
We leave the deer to their revels and start talking about the most important element in this community, the grass itself. I've heard that most of California's perennial bunch grasses were pushed out by non-native annual grasses in the 19th century. Cindy says that's not quite true.
I see native grasses fairly often in the Santa Cruz Mountains, mixed in here and there. And it's because I've taught myself how to look for them. They have a lot of challenge with the annual grasses, but they're still here.
The easiest time of year to identify native bunch grasses is in early spring. The non-native grasses are still just sprouting, but if you see sturdy, bunchy, robust clumps of grass, you've spotted natives. In the summer, when most of the non-native grasses have turned brown, you might see greenish clumps interspersed. Again, those are native grasses. Now walk on the trail to the forest edge and have a look at an impressive canyon oak. That's the species with multiple trunks.